Morning, guys. Welcome to General Science. For this week, I decided to try and film outside today since it's a beautiful day. But there's no place to put my stuff, so sorry if I'm fidgety. So again, this is for General Science. Make sure that you're not doing a different science class. I do teach multiple sciences. But we're going to keep continuing on with learning about our bird orders. So last class we talked about the different bird orders in Strigiformes as well as Apodiformes, and you guys did your reports and they were really good. I enjoyed seeing them. So today what we're going to be doing is we actually will be learning about four more. So we're going to learn about Columbiformes, Pelecaniformes, Falconiformes, and Passeriformes, and then we're done with birds. And there's not going to be any assignments really with this today's video because I want you to study, because next week there'll be a quiz on all the bird orders that we've talked about. So I want to give you time to study, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about Columbiformes. Okay, it's Columbiformes, Columbiformes. Now these birds are actually kind of cool. They have some interesting characteristics. So these guys have a head bob. Okay, it means when they walk around, they move their head like this. It's a very iconic characteristic of these types of birds. They have very compact bodies. They're very sleek. Now, when you see them out in the wild or when you're outside, they don't look very sleek. They kind of look fat and pudgy, but they are very robust. They have lots of muscles, and that's because these guys fly really well. So they are fast flyers. Fast flyers, okay? They're very powerful wings, and they need to fly fast because they're preyed upon by other birds like hawks and eagles. So in order to get away from them, they have to maneuver and fly very, very quickly. They also do something very interesting is, like we talked about with mammals, mammals produce milk for their babies. Birds do not produce milk for their babies. They feed their babies food that they gather around. But with these particular types of birds, the first few days after hatching, the mother and father will produce something called a crop milk. This is not the same kind of milk that a mammal would make or that humans make. It's something different. It's just got a lot of nutrients, and it's like a vitamin boost for the babies for the first little while of their life. And a lot of times, if these birds, the baby birds, don't get that crop milk, they won't necessarily survive or become as strong as they could. So that's very interesting about this particular bird orders. They make a crop milk for their babies. They're very adaptable. In fact, you will find them in urban areas a lot. They're all over the place. In fact, in historical places in Europe, like with a lot of statues that have been made out of marble, they actually are destroying a lot of that kind of stuff, because when they poop, their poop is very acidic, and it eats away at that rock, and it's eating away at art that has been there for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years. Some examples for these bird orders are, so again, my little asterisk sign over here is where my examples are going to be. These are doves and pigeons. Okay? Doves and pigeons are in Columbiformes. Now, there's not really a good way to remember Columbiformes. You just kind of have to remember it. But it's kind of interesting. So these are the characteristics, and over here are the examples of these particular birds. So I'm going to erase this, and we're going to do another one. This video hopefully isn't as long as some of the other ones, but it might be because we have to go over a lot of information today. Pelecaniformes is the next one we're going to go over. It's Pelicaniformes. Now, judging by the name of this particular order, I'm sure that you guys can figure out what bird order this, or what birds fit in this bird order. But before we get into the examples, I wanted to tell you about the characteristics of these guys. So these guys actually have webbed feet. Okay. Now, don't be confused, because we did talk about the order Anseriformes, and those also have webbed feet. So sometimes these characteristics will overlap. That's why you need to know many different ones. So they have webbed feet. They are very large birds. Usually pretty large birds. Okay. They are aquatic birds, which means they live live around or near water, lakes. You can see them here in Utah Lake, or at the Great Salt Lake, and sometimes up in the mountains. You'll be able to see lots of these kind of guys, and they're usually migratorial, which means they come here in the spring and the summer, and then they leave in the fall. So you won't really see them in the winter, just the spring and the summer. Excuse me. They do have a large flap of skin under their neck. Okay, they have a large flap of skin under their neck, and what happens with the skin is it actually can expand quite large, and this is to help them catch fish, because as they are aquatic, they eat fish and crustaceans, and sometimes they've been known to eat smaller birds, and they get them in this large flap under their skin, and it helps when they swallow it down, because they don't have teeth to chew. Okay. Now, examples. Oh no, I'm too far away. Examples of these particular types of birds are cormorants. You'll see a species here in Utah called the double-crested cormorant, but one that you would probably know more about are pelicans. Okay, so pelicans and cormorants fall in this particular bird order. Easy to remember. If you can remember pelican, you can remember Pelecaniformes. Very easy. And I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background. That's my turkey. So, which is in Galliformes. But you could probably hear that. I apologize. All right, let's go on to another one here. Another easy one to remember. Falconiformes. Now, judging by the name, you're going to be able to tell what kind of birds fit into this order. But let's talk about the characteristics really quick. These guys have sharp beaks. Okay? Very sharp and curved beaks. They eat fish, they eat little mammals, rabbits, and depending on the size of these particular types of birds, some of them even eat insects. There's really small birds that are in Falconiformes that eat insects, but they all will have this very sharp curved beak, and it's used and designed to rip flesh off. So it's very sharp. You don't want to get bit by one. They also have sharp talons. Okay, talons are their claws on their feet, and they are very long. Sometimes, depending on the species, you'll get these birds that have longer talons or toenails than dinosaurs did. And that's because they need to hold on to their food to make it not get away. It punctures their skin. It's a little bit graphic, but they have these to help survive and eat. They also are fast at flying. Okay? They are extremely quick flyers, and they do that because the prey that they go after are either aware that they're around, so they are running really quick to get away, so they have to fly fast. They also can dive really fast. One of the fastest birds is the peregrine falcon, and it can dive bomb things at 300 miles an hour, so it's pretty quick. One other thing that I wanted to say, let's see, was it one or two things? Two more things that I wanted to talk about. These guys are known as birds of prey. I don't like that, so I'm going to put it up here anyway. So birds of prey. Okay. Spelled that wrong. Birds of prey. Now, almost all birds that eat insects or small animals that may not fit into Falconiformes, they are all birds of prey. So I want to give you another word, which is raptor. Okay? These are raptors. So, I don't know if you've seen Jurassic Park or whatever, but they are like birds, and raptors are falcons and eagles and such, okay? And Falconiformes. One other thing that they have is they have really strong stomach acid. Now, the reason why they have strong stomach acid is because the prey that they eat, they will eat whole. They'll swallow them whole, they'll pick things off, so they have to be able to digest hair and teeth and fur and bone and all sorts of stuff. So they have really strong stomachs that produce acid. There's actually a type of, I think it's a type of eagle that eats only bones. So what they do is they find a carcass, they fly up really high in the sky with this piece of bone in their mouth, and they drop it. And as they drop it, it hits rocks and breaks apart into pieces that they can swallow, and then they just digest the bone. That's all they eat. So it's pretty cool. So Falconiformes. Now some examples of these are obviously going to be falcons. My turkey is so funny. And eagles. And hawks. These are the ones that I would like you guys to remember for this class. There are others, but these are the easiest ones, because if you think of falcon, you'll remember Falconiformes, okay? So we're going to do one more. But before I go on, I would like you all to know a specific special word. So on your assignments on Schoolmaster, it tells you that there's a little assignment that you have to know this word just to make sure that you watch this video, okay? So the word that I'm going to choose, this special word, is pineapple, okay? So when you turn in your assignment, make sure you tell me that the special word is pineapple, and then I'll know that you watched this video and you'll get your points, okay? One more that we're going to talk about is Passeriformes. Now, the reason why I'm talking about Passeriformes is because it is the largest of all of the bird orders. There are so many species of birds in this particular bird order. It is the largest by far. And right now, during springtime, you can hear them and you can see them everywhere. I hear them all the time in the mornings. You could probably hear them in the background in the field. Okay, so that is a characteristic. It's the largest bird order. Okay, largest bird order. These guys have a very interesting toe. So we've talked about toes in the past with like Picaformes, how they've got 2 in the front and 2 in the back, and same with Psittaciformes. But with Passeriformes, they have 3 in the front. So they've got like 3 feet in the front, and then they have 1 in the back. And what's cool is the 1 in the back is always larger than the 3 in the front. And this is to help them perch on branches, okay? Which is also another characteristic. These are perching birds, excuse me. Okay, perching birds. They also can sing really well, and sometimes it's super annoying in the morning at 4 or 5 in the morning when you hear them perching outside your window, but they are also songbirds. Okay? Now, we won't be getting into too much detail, but there's another characteristic. If you decide to go on in college and take more classes on ornithology, you will learn that there's a part of the skull that is actually fused to a specific bone, and that's a characteristic of Passeriformes. They're the only order that have that, but we're not going to talk about that kind of stuff in this class, okay? Especially because we're so far away and distancing ourselves, so I want to make it as easy as possible for you guys. All right, some examples of these. These are all over, so you'll get robins, sparrows, so robins and sparrows and finches, okay, crows and ravens. Now, I know that crows and ravens don't have necessarily a beautiful song that they sing, but they are a Passeriformes, so they fit into this category, okay? So this concludes all of our bird orders. I wish that we could be in school because I would have taken you guys to the park and you could have seen all of the different birds at the park, identify them. But this is as best as I could do during this pandemic time. So make sure that you take notes on these, either mental notes or physical notes, on all of the videos on bird orders. and study those, because next week we'll be having a quiz on it. Okay, so make sure that you take notes, remember things. If you have questions, make sure you email me. And that kind of, yeah, that concludes our lesson for today. Hope you guys are doing well, and talk to you soon.